Hello, everyone. Welcome to Catherine's ESL Classroom. In today's lesson, we are going to learn about ever versus never. Have you ever heard of ever, but never knew how to use them? Well, let's get started and learn some more. Welcome, everyone. Today's lesson, ever versus never. Drum roll, let's review. Ever versus never. Ever means at any time. Never means at no time or not at any time. We often use ever and never with the present perfect, but they can also be used with other verb tenses. For example, I've never been to Brazil. They had never seen such a beautiful sunset before. Does she ever visit her mother? I never saw such a big fish before. So remember, ever means at any time and never means at no time or not at any time. So a good way to remember ever and never is you can replace those words with ever meaning at any time, or never at no time, or not at any time. So I'll give you an example. On the first one, it says, I've never been to Brazil. You can say, I have at no time been to Brazil. The second one says they had never seen such a beautiful sunset before. Or you can say they had at no time or not at any time seen such a beautiful sunset before. The third one says, does she ever visit her mother? Or you can say, does she at any time visit her mother? And the last one says, I never saw such a big fish before. Or you can say, I have at no time saw such a big fish before. Does that make more sense to you? Does that help you out? Learn ever versus never? Well, don't worry. We'll practice some more. Now let's just focus on ever. We use ever with questions. For example, have you ever studied English? Has Rosa ever been to the movie theater? Do you ever come to New York? Okay, you replace ever for at any time. Have you at any time studied English? Has Rosa ever been to the movie theater, or has Rosa at any time been to the movie theater? Now you try. Okay. Now, not ever. For negative questions, we can use not ever. For example, doesn't he ever call his grandmother? Which means, does he not ever call his grandmother? We use ever in negative sentences if we have not. For example, I haven't ever been here before, which means I have never been here before. He doesn't ever take any exercise, or he never takes any exercise. We use ever with negative adverbs like hardly or barely or scarcely, and in sentences with nothing or nobody or no one. For example, nobody has ever bought my paintings before. Nothing ever turns out right. We hardly ever go to the cinema. She barely ever replies to my emails. Starting to get the hang of it now? Do you use these? Well, don't worry, just pause or rewind and start over again to get to learn some more, okay? These are a little tricky, but you pretty much are using these already, right? We use ever with superlatives and adjectives like only and first. For example, it was the first time that she'd ever been abroad. That is the best meal that we've ever had. It's the only thing that I've ever wanted. Do you remember our superlatives? Remember, if you don't know some of these, just go back to my previous lessons, okay? And you can learn a little bit more about superlatives. For example, we use then ever. For example, with comparatives, we can use then ever. For example, she was working harder than ever. My life is better than ever. Do you use these already? Do you remember comparatives? If not, go back to my previous lessons. We can use ever after if. For example, if you ever want a job, let me know. If she ever comes to London, she can stay with me. Never, ever. Do you use never, ever? Let's learn how we use this. We can use never, ever to make the meaning of never stronger. This is an informal and often used by children. For example, I'll never, ever come here again. Do you say this? Maybe to a restaurant that you didn't like the service or the food. So you'll say, I'll never, ever come here again. Let's see how we use as ever. Sometimes ever can mean always. We use as ever to say that something is the same as always. For example, he's as kind as ever, which means he's still very kind, or he's as kind as always. The city is as exciting as ever, which means the city is still very exciting, or the city is as exciting as always. Ever after. Do you use ever after? I'll give you a hint. We read this. We use ever to mean always in some compounds and in some set expressions like happily ever after. For example, the trees are evergreen. The prince and princess lived happily ever after. So evergreen is a compound word using ever and green, okay? And happily ever after in those storybooks like Cinderella. Ever since. Let's see how we use ever since. We use ever since to mean all the time since a certain point. We can also use since without ever in these examples, but ever makes stronger. It makes it stronger. For example, I loved New York ever since I was a child. She's wanted to have children ever since she met her husband. Forever. We use ever to mean always when we say forever, or forever is a one word. For example, I will love you forever and ever. Or you could say, I will love you forever as one word and ever. You choose. Okay, time for our grammar quiz show. We are just going to do a grammar quiz show on ever versus never. Now, it won't cover everything that we covered because then there would be a gigantic test. But don't worry, I will add more lessons on grammar quiz shows on ever versus never. Okay, are you ready? Grammar quiz show, ever versus never, get ready. Okay, here you're going to choose ever or never. So we're going to click on the colored buttons, but I'll do these for you, okay? I don't go out ever during the week, or should it be, I don't go out never during the week? Now I'll give you a hint on the first one. Look at the contraction don't. This means do not. So I do not go out never during the week, or I do not go out ever during the week. Which one? Ever, okay? We can't use two negatives. Remember, never means not ever, okay? How about this one? I am ever missing school, or I am never missing school. Which one? Should it be ever? Let's see. Uh-oh, nope, that's wrong. So that must be never. I am never missing school, okay? Wanted to show you what it looks like to make a mistake, but that's okay. It's always good to make mistakes so we can practice. If you don't make mistakes, then that means you are perfect and you do not need these lessons. But it's always nice to have a refresher, right? How about this one? She is one of those people who don't ever say sorry. Or should it be, she is one of those people who don't never say sorry? Remember, hint, look at the contractions. We who don't or who do not ever say sorry, okay? You can't have two negatives. Remember, never is not ever. So you don't want to say who do not ever say sorry. I know sometimes people make those mistakes, but in this case, it's who don't ever say sorry. Let's see how you do on this one. He is one of those people who ever congratulates you for anything. Or should it be, he is one of those people who never congratulates you for anything? Which one? Let's try. Never, who never congratulates you for anything. Okay. Now look, any is the positive, anything. If this said nothing, would it be who never congratulates you for nothing, or whoever congratulates you for nothing? That's your bonus question. Put it down in the comments. What should the answer be, ever or never, when we use nothing? Have you ever lost your glasses? Or is it, have you never lost your glasses? I don't know. Maybe let's see. See, it's not never. Have you never lost your glasses? Now that's a famous answer, but it should be ever. Who picked never and who picked ever? I have ever been to Los Angeles, or I have never been to Los Angeles. Now, think about this. Is this an affirmative or positive statement, or is this a negative statement? I have never been to Los Angeles, which means, what does never mean? Not ever or not at any time. Paul has ever liked John very much, or Paul has never liked John very much. What could this be? Never. Paul has never liked John very much. How are you doing so far? How about this one? I've ever been so disgusted in my life, or I've never been so disgusted in my life. Now, what is this contraction? What does this mean? It means I have. I have ever been so disgusted in my life, or I have never been so disgusted in my life. Let's try never. That's right. I have never been so disgusted in my life, or I've never been so disgusted in my life. Practice those contractions. I ever want to see you again, or is it I never want to see them again? Which one? Never. I never want to see them again. Oh no, but this is what we say. Have you ever been to Beijing, or have you never been to Beijing? This is a tough one. Now, this is the most popular answer, but it's wrong. It's supposed to be ever. Have you ever been to Beijing? This means, have you at any time been to Beijing? Okay, you wouldn't say, have you not at any time been to Beijing? Okay, so remember, ever means at any time or always. What about this one? Jane has ever stayed at a 5-star hotel, or is it Jane has never stayed at a 5-star hotel? Now, I'll help you interpret this. Jane has at any time stayed at a 5-star hotel, or should it be Jane has not at any time stayed at a 5-star hotel? Now, this is a popular answer, but it's wrong. It's actually never. Jane has never or not at any time stayed at a 5-star hotel. I know these are a little tricky, but I know you're studying so hard, so I know you will eventually become a master. What about this one? That is one of the best films I have ever seen, or should it be, that is one of the best films I have never seen? Remember, ever means at any time or always, and never means not at any time or not ever. Which one? Ever. That is one of the best films I have ever seen. Ever seen, at any time seen. Which one? I have ever seen a whale in the sea, or I have never seen a whale in the sea. Give you a hint, not ever or not at any time. Are you finding it? Ever or never? Never. Did you get it? Congratulations if you did. You're starting to get the hang of it. 2 more to go. Let's see how we do. This is the best match ever, or this is the best match never. Which one? Let's try ever. Ever is correct. This is the best match at any time. This is the best match always, or this is the best match ever. Okay. Last one. This is the tallest man I've ever seen. This is the tallest man I've never seen. Now remember your contractions. What does I've mean? It means I have, okay? Now, is this a positive statement? Exclamation mark at the end because we have excited, or is it a negative statement? So I'll give you a hint. This is the tallest man I have at always or at any time seen, or is it this is the tallest man I have at any time not seen? This is a little tricky, right? Okay, which one? Ever. This is the tallest man I have ever seen. Let's practice the contraction. I've means I have, okay? I've ever seen. Okay, repeat. This is the tallest man I've ever seen. Congratulations, everyone. I think we did 15 out of 15. How did you do? Well, congratulations, everyone. Thank you for joining my class on ever versus never. Put down the comments. How did you do? And do you have any other examples of how you use ever or never? Until next time, bye.